What's up, guys? We are back with another SH Figuarts review, and we're doing something that I have not done in a really long time. I've pretty much completely forgotten about this entire line all year long, so we're taking a look at a Dragon Ball Figuarts today. I've hardly looked at anything this entire year. I've got them all. I have just kind of put them on the back burner, but this is one that I just could not wait on, so we're taking a look today at King Piccolo, Piccolo DAIMAOH, the evil Piccolo, whatever you want to call him, from Dragon Ball. So this guy comes in our standard style Figuarts box for the Dragon Ball line, but it is a larger format box because this is a big boy. So you've got him there in the window, you've got product shot on the front, you have got product shots on the side, as well as a bunch of product shots on the back, just like usual. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our King Piccolo figure, and this guy is, honestly, this guy is really cool. Certainly is far cooler than I had expected. I was really looking forward to this figure. Obviously, I'm here talking about it now, but I wasn't expecting to be this happy with the end result. Maybe it's just me not playing around with DBZ Figuarts for, well, too long, but this guy has been a bit of a welcome change for me. So let's take a look and see how he moves around, because frankly, he moves around pretty well, and he's got some interesting stuff here that isn't all that common on Dragon Ball stuff. So you've got a head that can look up a little bit. He can look down pretty far, and then you've got rotation at the head. You've also got a little bobble. The neck, of course, moves, so he can go really far down with that neck, and then it will move side to side as well. His antennae are also articulated, so they will spin around. So if you kind of want to have him like rushing forward, you can spin them to go backwards. You know, they're being windswept, so you can actually articulate those with whatever scene you're setting. Arms go out at the shoulders. They rotate all the way around. You do have a butterfly joint, which goes pretty good as far as getting him to cross his own chest. You've got a bicep swivel. We've got double jointed elbows here, which are pretty good. They aren't all that great, but they'll give you, about 90-ish degrees of movement. And then you've got your ball hinges at the wrist, so pretty good range of motion. Just spin that ball around and then you can articulate it in whichever direction you need. You've got a diaphragm cut at the top, so he goes backwards and forwards, really good side to side, and then of course rotation. You've also got rotation at the waist, and then there's a little bit of bobble there, but not too much. Legs go out really far, further than I probably plan to ever use. You can kick forward all the way if you spin that thigh around, and then they go all the way back as well. That's not natural. And then, of course, you do have a thigh cut in here at your legs, so they are really tight on this figure for me. I've kind of had to be like breaking them up a little bit, so you might have to do that, you might not. Your mileage may vary on whether yours are that stuck. I've got pretty good range of motion on those knees. They are, of course, really baggy pants, so they're not the most appealing to look at, but they work pretty well. And then down here at these ankles, there are what appear to be double ball pegs. So you've got kick forward, backward, rocker, side to side. That's some pretty wild rocker action. Full rotation, of course, as well. And then you've got toe articulation, which is pretty much the norm. The only thing that's maybe a negative when it comes to these ankles is they're not going to be the easiest when it comes to trying to pose him on like a single foot for a running pose, because they are going to want to move with his weight. Otherwise, though, for a big figure, and this guy is big, and we'll talk about that, he articulates and moves just incredibly well. I'm really happy with how he turned out. Now, as far as the overall look and feel on this guy, I am about as happy as I could be. There is maybe one thing that I would have changed, and I'm sure it would have affected his articulation in some ways, but in a general sense, I think they got him down pretty good. There's not tons and tons of paint on this guy, mostly kind of the pink and red circles that are on his arms. So you've got the red piping, and then you've got the pink inlay, but the majority of the figure is just molded plastic. Even this piece here is actually a separate piece, which works really well, so they didn't have to paint that red onto the chest. They put that piece on separate, and then you've got the logo on there, and of course there's really nothing on the back. There's not really any shading on him either, but because his suit is a dark color, it catches the light on its own, so I'm not really sure that's a negative. It's just a thing. He doesn't really have shading, but at the same time, I don't think he needs it. Looking at him right now, he kind of has shadow on him to begin with, just being in a natural lighted situation, so that's probably not a big deal. What really is striking about this figure, and something that I guess I wasn't too aware of prior to seeing people getting him in hand is just how big he is, because he is a big figure. And granted, he should be. He should be a big figure because he's a big character, but he's really quite large. Here he is next to Kid Goku. It's probably the best thing for scale comparisons. He really only comes up to about his crotch, and that's mostly because of his hair. This is a really big, bulky figure, and I just like the way he looks. I think the pants look really good with the baggy nature of them. The green is incredibly vibrant. The painted pads for the pink and the red are really nicely done. The one thing that I think maybe could have been changed is that I think his shoulders are not quite as broad. If anything, there should probably be more suit that comes across the shoulders, but then you run into an area where that's probably going to affect his range of movement. So it's kind of a, what do you prefer? More movement or maybe slightly more screen accurate? Because he should have like a bit of a puffier chest. He had a big, massive set of pecs in the show. But otherwise, I think he looks really, really solid. There's not much to complain about. He's a big, bulky figure with a great sculpt, great size, and what paint he does have is really well applied. And then you've got this head sculpt to top it all off. And of course, this guy does have multiple heads. King Piccolo has a number of expressions to deal with, but the base form that he comes with in the pack is just incredibly well done. I love the smirk on the face. Everything here is really clean and crisp. Not a lot of paint because he's got a big bald head, but the eyes are really clean. Everything is straight, no issues with paint. The antennae are really nicely done. Again, they do move around. You will, of course, have to maybe pay a little more attention to those so you don't snap them off, but I've had no scares when it comes to my figure. I haven't been worried about him. And it's just a nice looking head sculpt. Proportions are good, color is really good, and what little paint is needed and is there is really clean and crisp. Now, of course, he does come with a pretty wide array of accessories. So we've got extra heads, hands, and then a smattering of more goofy type accessories. So to start with, we've got some swappable heads here. You've got one where he is a little angrier, gritting his teeth, more teeth showing. You've got one where his eyes are kind of bloodshot and he's screaming with the veins popping out of his head. And then you've got maybe the coolest, but one I'm probably not going to use as often, is the one where he is, opening his jaw like a boa constrictor, spitting out that egg. And then he also has a selection of hands as well. So you've got a set of open palm splayed finger hands. You've got a set of open gripping hands. Then you've got a right-handed chop, and you've got a right-handed pointing finger hand. And then, of course, last but not least, he does have a few more eccentric accessories. So you've got the Dragon Ball that he comes with. He comes with the 1-star ball. As far as his entry in the line of balls that we've gotten. You get the very fantastic rice cooker that I'm sure a lot of folks are going to use for other things, which it does open, so you can seal away a demon or whatever you want to do. And then you've got the egg here, which has a little stand on it, and it's got kind of like the little mucus as it comes out of his mouth. It has a peg for a Tamashii stand, but it doesn't come with one. So if you've got an extra one, you can put an arm on it and actually have it sitting in front of his face looking like he's spitting it out. But he does have a tremendous array of accessories. There is a lot of stuff here. I'd love to have gotten an energy effect, but I will take the egg, and then the rice cooker is a nice little bonus for sure. So overall, there's not a great deal to complain about with this figure. I'd say we have a really solid Figuarts entry with this guy. If anything, the only thing that I would say is maybe worth noting is that his chest could be a little puffier. Otherwise, this is a really cool, fun, solid action figure. He moves incredibly well. He's got a great deal of size and weight to him. Paint is good. Accessories are fantastic. And, it's just a big, bulky King Piccolo figure. I never expected to really be getting something like this, and I'm really happy to have him. He is an excellent addition into the Dragon Ball line of Figuarts for sure. I am very much looking forward to messing around with this figure and Kid Goku in my display. So that is going to do it for this look at the Bandai Tamashii Nation's SH Figuarts Dragon Ball King Piccolo. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.